in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. I'm your host, Verdel Jones, and this is my co-host, Jeremiah Jones, so we're happy to have him in the house.
What's up, people? How you doing?
So, being an educator at heart, I'm dedicated to sharing conversations that inform and enlighten in the hopes that you learn something you did not know. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, you going to say it?
No.
When you learn, teach, and when you get, give. We have a great show planned for you today. As I said, I have Jeremiah with me today, so I'm always excited when he's in studio with me because we really have a good time, and we share a lot of useful information. So today is not going to be any different.
Nope. Hopefully, we can make you laugh a little bit, make you think a little bit,
right?
And give out some information that may be helpful.
Right. So
we'll see.
So before we get into the show, I want to mention a couple of things. You can follow me on Twitter. And that's DeliTach, DeliTach. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So when I upload any new videos, you'll be able to see them. You'll get a little notification. And that's DeliTach as well, DeliTach. And I also want to mention that on November 4th, I'm going to have a Long Island Authors Showcase and Networking Seminar. So we'll put that information up. It tells you a little bit about where you can contact me to get that information. So if we could just show that. What I really wanted to do is have an event where authors can, present their material, talk about their book, get a new audience and be able to do a presentation. So what I'm doing is the authors will be able to present for about 5 to 7 minutes, and it will be professionally taped. And also the authors that take advantage of the opportunity will also be able to be a guest on Conversations with Verdel Jones. You'll get a 30-minute segment. So we're looking for, dynamic authors who want to gain a new audience, who want to share their book. And then the people that are going to be coming, the people that are going to attend the event, they're going to be the ones who are interested in books, book lovers, and those interested in writing books, because we're going to have a special guest speaker that will speak to marketing a book, how to publish a book, and things like that. So it's really going to be a great event. It's going to be at Theater 294, which is in Farmingdale. So it's a great central location, and we're looking forward to the event. So if you're interested and you're an author out there, hit me up. All the information's there. You can also inbox me, Facebook, and all of that, and I'll be in contact with you. So thank you for that. The other thing before we get started, I also want to thank our sponsor, Nancy Vargas Johnson. She is a realtor in the Long Island area. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, Nancy Vargas Johnson is your woman. So you can also, contact her for that. I always like to share the story about how my father had to sell his father's house. He passed away, and estate sales can sometimes be a little challenging, and Nancy did such a great job. So we love Nancy. Again, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit her up. She can really, really help you out. So let's get
Nancy. Go Nancy. Go Nancy. Go Nancy.
So let's get started. So we wanted to, we really were thinking about, all right, what do we want to talk about today? And with the season of students going off to college, we want to kind of talk about that. But before that, we want to talk a little bit about some of the things that are going on. One of the things that is really weighing heavy on, I think, a lot of us are, is what's going on in Texas and in Louisiana as far as Hurricane Harvey now, which is a tropical storm. It was downgraded to a tropical storm, but the devastation is really significant.
Yeah, it's real crazy down there as far as, and it's sort of like, it seems, from what I've been hearing, it's sort of like a Katrina situation in the sense that, you had the initial storm,
right?
But it seems like a lot of the after effects and things that they have to do after, like some of the dams, they have to let water flow through, and,
right?
it's not the initial storm that's doing a lot of the damage as far as flooding is concerned. It's after the fact.
It's after the fact, and they had to.
Crazy.
I think one of the things that like you were saying, they have to. I didn't really get this, but they have to release some of that pressure from the dam so they don't actually break. Right.
It was that, and I believe it was a situation of they have to let them. They have to release it so it goes in a certain direction so it doesn't go around and cause damage some other way. I'm not exactly sure. So,
okay.
But, they know what they're doing. But it's just a lot of help is needed right now. I mean, they'll be dealing with the effects of this and from this for like years to come.
Right.
I know just from Sandy and for our little dealings
Right.
we had here on Long Island in New York area, it was crazy. So I know, and I mean they're in the midst of it now. I think the storm just, it just stopped like today.
Right. And
was that it passed all the way through Texas. So that's just crazy.
And you know what? It really, in the time of our country being separated and and divided on so many issues, I think it takes situations like this to show the humanity, of our country and the spirit of our country and how we help each other out.
People pulling together, regardless of race, creed, religion, whatever the case.
All of that,
and helping out and doing what they got to do to get people through this. So that's a good thing to see.
Positive. And also, I just wanted to mention that Amazon. If you go to Amazon, they have a link to the Red Cross, so you can donate through the Red Cross. But there was also a link that Sean King, the writer, he's a writer for the Daily News.
He used to be. I don't think he writes anymore.
He just left the Daily News. But Sean King, he put up a tweet, and I had retweeted it. So if you follow me on Deli Teach, you'll see that I retweeted. A friend of mine tweeted it. Retweeted it, and I retweeted it. And there's a link, because when I went to Amazon, you got the link for the Red Cross, but you didn't see the link that goes to a bunch of items that can be purchased to send to to the area that's been affected. Right. So if you look on Deli Teach, you'll see that link, and it's all kind of toiletries and things like that, diapers and deodorants, and I mean just a lot of different toiletry items that are really going to be needed, in that area. So you can go there and help. So yeah, it's just it's so sad to watch, but our thoughts and prayers are with all those affected.
Definitely.
Yeah. So in other news, we wanted to talk a little bit about the eclipse. That was very exciting.
I didn't see it.
He didn't see it.
I didn't have no glasses.
You didn't have glasses. You didn't want to squint at it.
I wasn't taking no chances. I heard stories about people having a permanent eclipse print in their eyeballs. So
total eclipse.
I wasn't chancing it. You know what I'm saying?
So what happened was I was at work, and the eclipse was going on, and my secretary came to me, and she's like, I have glasses, because they were giving glasses out, and she had glasses, and she told me, don't look up and put your glasses on. You have to look down first and then put them on and look for it. And I'm like, of course. And then when I got out there, I realized what she was talking about, because those glasses, you can't see anything. They're dark. They're pitch black, except for the eclipse. So I remembered what she said and was like, that's why she said it. Because your
basic instinct is to look for it and then put
Absolutely.
the glasses
on. Right, yeah. So I would have been in trouble. Yeah, so my secretary saved my life. So I want to thank her.
Oh, wait, before we go any further,
yes.
too, I just wanted to give a quick shout out. My little T-shirt I'm wearing here, Lowell, to my man Heath. This is his slangsmith.com. So, quick plug, Lowell Ave, that's where we grew up on, both of us.
Both of us, yeah.
Came off in Central Islip. Lowell Avenue was the main drag, got to represent for Lowell Avenue, see our people. So, Heath, here you go, slangsmith.com. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that happened. But our son, he was a film major. He graduated as a film major. He went to Emerson College. Our daughter is in media also. She's a journalist. She's going to school for journalism at Temple. And I'm going to say she's a journalist because she really has been working that craft for a while. Yeah. So a lot of our life is really consumed around media. Right. Like it's heavy media. And one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about was all the good TV. Every time even at my job and people I talk to, we're always talking about TV shows. Right. And in our household, movies, TV shows, and all of that is really something that we talk a lot about. Right. And we were having this discussion last night, and I was saying to Jeremiah that I thought a lot of things have changed. People might not eat around the dinner table anymore like they used to, but for me, but back in the days, people did sit around the TV and watch the TV.
Right.
And I think that's kind of coming back with all the good shows. And you kind of said you didn't really think so, but...
Well, no, only because of the way media is presented now on so many different platforms. People watch it on their phones. They watch it on their iPads.
Right.
They watch it, I mean... Yeah, like us, like, say, for instance, like a Game of Thrones, we'll sit Sunday night,
right.
First thing, we sitting there right in front of the TV, all four of us, tuned in. But a lot of people don't watch it that way.
Yeah.
So.
It depends, though, because there's some shows that people watch in real time.
You want to watch, like Game of Thrones, that's one of the ones that you want to watch. Everybody doesn't, though. I remember, quick story, I went to my job a couple of weeks ago, and it was a Monday, and we got a bunch of... Game of Thrones watches there, and I came in, ready to talk,
right?
And said, hey, did you see? It was right after the. Well, I don't know if everybody can.
No spoilers, right?
No, well, not the last one. There was a couple ones.
Okay.
Well, it's off now anyway.
Right.
When the dragons came and tore up when they were fighting.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
So I come in, all excited. And one guy, he's like, oh, no, I didn't see it. I'm watching. No. The other guy, another guy is sitting at his desk on his phone watching that scene as we're talking. So he just finished. He took a quick 5-10 minutes, finishes up, and then I'm over there talking to him. So I don't know. I mean, you have some people that watch it like that. Other people, get it how they get it. Like I said, so many different platforms you can watch TV on, whether it's, iPads and computers.
Right, and then there's Hulu and the Netflix, and there's a lot of different avenues for you to watch TV.
There's so many shows, so much TV, so much good TV out now. It's real crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There is a lot of good TV out right now, so people tend to binge watch a lot of the shows.
Yeah.
And we've binge watched something like Netflix. That's what you do.
Oh, yeah.
You binge watch.
That's what happens.
Binge watch?
Binge.
You binge watch.
Binge watch.
You binge watch. Yeah. Right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they do. They throw out,
absolutely.
series, like, Defenders or whatever, Luke Cage, boom, we go all in and
watch
it all
that,
in a night, at least 2 nights.
Right. And watch
depending on what it is, some things, it's like,
Yeah, but, there... And also, one of the things that we do when we watch TV, and our kids, tend to get a little upset with me more so than anyone else, is because I talk through the whole thing, I must admit, and I have questions and all of that, but, that's just the way I watch TV.
Yeah. Yelling and fight scenes is crazy.
But, so I think of it as a family event in our household because we are so attached to media in a lot of different ways, right. Even doing the show, it's, media based.
Oh, wait, I got or another thing, this is what she does, right? We're watching a TV show, right? Good show. All into it, right? I know what he's going to
say.
She'll get up, and this happens, you could ask either one of our kids. The last 10, 15 minutes of the show, it's getting good, the climactic part, she'll get up and go wash dishes. It's like, where are you going? She'll just leave. It's like, Mom, where are you going? She goes, starts washing, puts a load of clothes in. It's like, you want us to pause this? I mean, where you going?
No, I'm good.
No, she's good. It's like, time and time again, it's like, oh my God, it drives us crazy. I just had to.
Like we were just talking about, what's the show we just, The Defenders, right?
Yeah.
This is another thing. We did a comic book show like a month or so or two ago. And, so we watch a lot of comic book type movies, or superheroes, I should say. And we were watching The Defenders, and that was on Netflix, so it was like 8 episodes. It was really good.
We get to episode 8. We done went in. We started watching at 6 o'clock, whatever, 4 o'clock. We knocking out episodes. The last episode, about 15, 20 minutes left in the episode, she leaves. It's like, where are you going? She went upstairs. We're used to it now, so it's just like.
Yeah. I mean, I
got
things to do. I was tired. I have things to do. Whatever.
I can see if leaving at episode 4, then all right.
Right. No, I mean, I get it. But so that to me is a family thing.
Yes.
It really is. Like I said, we are all into the media and all that stuff, so it's a family thing. So now what's going on is, as I mentioned at the top of the show, it's college season. In other words, children are starting, our children are starting college in the fall.
Our child.
Well, in general, people are having their children, their children are going to college, off to college in the fall. Sometimes, in some instances, it might be your first child, it might be your second child, your third, or what have you, but this is the season for it. Mm-hmm. And I just want to show this. There's this picture that one of my friends had put up on Facebook, and it's of, the first day of school and then off to college. And when she put up this graphic, it was very interesting how much conversation kind of, sparked because of that. The first day of school, the child does not want to leave. And then, the first day of college, it's kind of the opposite. So after I saw this, this little graphic, this little cartoon, it really made me think about, because there was so much conversation about it, right, how people feel how people feel about leaving, their children leaving, the nest. So we wanted to talk a little bit about it because people are really upset about it. And we want to share our experiences and how we kind of got through it, right. Okay. So our son he graduated from college in 2014, right, and our daughter will graduate in 2018. So we had them 4 years apart. I think that was I don't know if it was strategic, but I thought it was pretty clever because we didn't have two kids in college. It wasn't strategic.
It so happened.
It so happened.
Worked out good.
It worked out nicely. So, I think that there's a couple of things that we really want to address as far as having your children go off to college. That there's a mourning period. First, there's a preparation period. Then there's the mourning period. And then there's, I'm not going to call it elation.
I would call it the self-realization. It's like, wow.
Right, exactly. So I'll just give you an example. Our son, he was the first of our children to go off to college. And we dropped him off at Emerson. He was going 4 hours away, which, it's not a long way, but it's a decent amount of time.
It's
right?
It's a little ride.
So we dropped him off. Mm-hmm. I was under, I had this thing in my mind that, I'll go back to this. I had this thing in my mind that I'm not going to let him see me, breaking down.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
I did.
Okay.
I did. And I didn't. I think I cried in the car on the way home. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we didn't speak to each other. We were just silent the whole ride home after we dropped him off. But it was very traumatic. But before that, we did have, we prepared him to go away to college, and I think we prepared ourselves. Even, I think more so with Maya than with Marcus, because with Marcus, it wasn't like we were in the dark years when he was getting ready to go off to college. So it wasn't a lot of preparation there, but we prepared after. But I mean, what were your feelings when that was going down?
Marcus?
Yeah.
Going to college? It was. I don't know. It was a blur because like you said, he was the first, and the preparation was more, I guess, getting him prepared for things that he'll have to face.
Right.
In college, not necessarily preparing ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? It was more so preparing him, making sure he had everything he needed, but not preparing ourselves. And also, too, only because we still had Maya
right.
at the house. So it really, we still were busy with, we were busy with her.
Right.
Her activities.
It was a little different.
It was
different.
Just a different dynamic in the house.
It was different for the first child going away than it was for Maya going away. Yeah, I think you're right.
We still had the child left, and but the house was different.
It was different. And you know what the thing is with Maya, I mean with Marcus going away, all of our attention was focused, on Maya. Like, I really felt bad for her because it was like we swarmed in on her because she was, for me, that's the way it was, because, she was the only one left.
Yeah, but I think she appreciated that.
She appreciated that? Yeah, I think she did too. Yeah,
I don't think that was a bad thing.
No, it wasn't a bad thing. But the focus was on her. I remember when we dropped, I had a conversation with a friend at work, and his son, it's his second son that went off to college. And, they drove him up there, and he called and said that he needed, I don't know, some let's say soap. I don't know what it was. And the realization for his son was, his parents weren't there, that he had to actually buy the soap himself.
Was it toilet paper or was it soap?
I don't know. I'm just making it up. I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was.
Because I thought we just talked about it.
We did, but I didn't know what it was. And the same thing happened to us. We dropped Marcus off. We got home. And he called us and said, Mom and Dad, I need, whatever it was. And we're like, well, you have to get it.
Yeah, go to the store with that.
Right, exactly.
Make a move.
So it's really a learning, it's a learning curve for them as much as you prepare them, but it's also a learning curve for us as parents because we couldn't go get it for him.
Right.
He had to do it himself.
Right, when you're used to doing things for your kids and taking care of situations.
Right.
They have to take care of things themselves.
They have to take care of themselves, exactly.
It's a change in the dynamic of relationships and how things go between you and them and the whole bit. So, they're becoming adults and it's like, man.
But from a man's point of view, like father to son, what are the things that you think you did with him to prepare him to leave the nest?
What did I do to prepare him to leave the nest? It's just conversations.
Right.
I don't think it was anything just direct. It was just conversations that we would have when we'd be riding or talking, you know what I'm saying? Just about life in general and things. And it was, I don't think it was, like I said, it wasn't any one thing. It was just a steady preparation throughout his years.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't just, you can start and say, take sips of the brew and just relax and make sure you put a Jimmy, all that man-to-man stuff. You have those conversations, make sure you protect yourself.
Right,
all those things.
Right.
But I think more so from starting, from when they're young. It's
We've always said that.
Yeah, it's a constant conversation that you're having with your child, whether it's me, to Marcus, and our conversation is going to be a little different, or you and Maya, your conversation may be a little different.
Right,
but
sure.
Throughout the years, it was just a constant preparation for the fact that he's going to be out there in the world one day. So
Right, exactly.
I can't point to any one conversation, in general, but it's just, you want to have a constant talk and just make sure that they can conversate with you and ask you things and talk to you about things, and that's what it was for me. It wasn't a
right. I think some of the practical things that that I would suggest parents do is the basic stuff. Like I remember showing him how to balance his checkbook, and I told him you probably won't have a checkbook, but at least you have to kind of reconcile your finances because. And that should start, it shouldn't start when they're getting ready to leave. It should start a little bit before so they can get a little bit of practice in it, in doing that. We took him to get his debit card and, just things like that are part of the preparation. And I think another thing is the responsibility part of it, giving them a little bit of freedom, as time goes on.
Yeah, as they're getting older throughout high school, letting them, it's the typical things, letting them hang out, letting them do this, go here, whatever.
Right.
Maya was driving in high school.
Right, exactly.
She wanted to drive. Marcus didn't really care too much about driving.
Right.
Maya wanted to drive. Maya was driving everywhere as a senior in high school, so,
Which was different for us, too.
Which was different for us also, but it was a part of that letting go process.
Yeah, exactly.
Her being able to take herself and do things, which, was like you said, a letting go part, but it was great.
Yeah, it was. It was really nice.
And I think that also transitioned us into, with Maya, it was different.
It was different. Yeah, you're right.
Maya was different because of things like that. It was more of a transition in terms of things, because she was doing things on her, by herself, like as far as like driving, taking herself places and, things like
and
that.
things like that.
I guess was a good thing.
It was a little different. So when Marcus went, there was that loss, and I like to kind of describe it as that the loss, like the energy. There's the whole dynamic in the household kind of changes a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's just our daughter Maya, me and Jeremiah at that point. And it was just a different dynamic.
Yeah, the house
it
has
really
a whole different energy.
Whole different energy,
when
exactly.
He left,
right.
Because
exactly.
it's your routine. You're waking up in the morning.
Right.
You hearing the footsteps going to the bathroom.
Right.
Whatever,
yeah. Exactly.
You're hearing the different alarm clocks and songs going on.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you don't hear that anymore.
It's very different.
It's
exactly.
Different. So
yeah.
then, that's like, man, and it's kind of like I think you had mentioned. It's kind of a mourning in a sense.
It is. Yeah.
You're missing the way things used to be, what I mean? Mm-hmm. The daily routine of, because as parents, everybody knows you're busy, especially you got kids that are involved in stuff. Marcus was, track and, taekwondo and
drama.
different things and
right,
drama,
right.
With the plays and stuff. So we were constantly from when they were little,
on the go,
shuttling, and it stops.
Right. Well, okay, so then we just have Maya at home. And Maya was involved in a lot of different activities in school as well. So we were still, carting her around and doing different things. She played, volleyball. She was on track. So she did some things. And we were driving her. We were constantly, moving and doing things with her.
Going to different things.
And then, as Jeremiah said, she got her license and she was able to do some of those things. And that was an opportunity for us to have a little bit of, I think, freedom. Right?
Yeah, not having to take her, we went to things that she was involved in, but we didn't have to take her to practice.
Right. Pick her up from practice. Right. She was able to drive.
Yeah, she was hanging out with her friends. They would, they would drive or whatever a little bit. So that was good.
So I always like to share the story of, when, even though we did have Maya, Marcus was still not there. And I often tell the story that in his senior year or his last year, in college, he went to California his first semester, and then he went back to Boston for the last semester. Of his last year. So we dropped him off in Boston. It was cold. It was like rainy, sleet, and this was a child who had been in school for 3.5 years, and I cried when we left him because you get so used to having them around. So Maya goes, Maya gets accepted, and we take her. And before we took her to college, I was building myself up that she was going to leave, because this is the last child that was going to leave.
So baby.
And this is our last child going away, and no joke, I must have cried for about a week. Like, no joke.
It was a sad state of affairs, people. The house was in mourning. I was sad too. I mean, I'm not gonna front. I mean, of course, I was sad and I felt bad, but I mean, it was bad.
It was so bad. It was so bad. So I like I said, about literally, I was down for a week because. Like we said, Maya was our main focus. She was with us all the time. And she's a little different than Marcus. Marcus was with us, but not like Maya. Like Marcus will go in his room and play video games. Maya would hang out with us and watch TV with us.
Right. Yeah, she would hang with us.
She would hang with us.
Marcus was a little more independent.
Right.
He's in, like you said, in his room, watching his, playing games or doing whatever he does in his room. But Maya was hanging out with us when we did stuff. And we talked about the conversation, like the conversation you had with Marcus, man to man, and Maya and I, woman to woman. It was the conversation with her is. I love that you said it was a progression, a conversation over time, because that's exactly what it was with Maya and I. We would talk about little things in pieces. So I would tell parents, don't try to talk about everything all at once because it doesn't work. So in chunks, we would take little conversations. If there was a teachable moment, I would jump on it. And also too, don't get it confused in terms of, because I know like you're saying man to man and woman to woman.
Right.
There's also kind of, same thing with me and Maya and
Yes.
you and Marcus.
Right,
It was
right.
a continuous from when she was younger up also. It wasn't just like I'm going to talk to Marcus and you're going to
No.
you're going to talk to Maya. Of course, she has to hear from from a male,
both.
Yeah, she has to hear from both. She has to hear from a male perspective, and same thing with Marcus. I mean, please,
Yeah,
as a
I'm
matter of
good.
fact, you and Marcus. Let me tell you, Marcus and Verdel's conversations are legendary in our household because you want to talk about debates. Me and Maya just sit there and just let them go. They sit there. They'll debate for hours because both of them have strong opinions. We all have strong opinions, but I mean they'll debate. Oh my God! And it's cool. They go back and forth. Oh no!
Well, but that's part of it. In my book, I talk about getting to know your child. The parent agent. Go cop that. I talk about getting to know your child, and that's one of the things we always have this constant dialogue.
Right.
And
Oh yeah.
so we talked a little bit about how we felt and our children leaving, but I just want to share also what our children were feeling because I think that's important too. They do miss you, and they have listened to most of what you said. Like a lot of times parents don't think that their children are listening to them when they're talking to them, but that's not true. They really do hear everything, the good and the bad, but they will pick up because what happens is you're not there with them, but your voice and what you stated to them and what you shared with them and taught them and what you've done.
What they've seen
right,
from you.
Exactly. That is always there.
Yeah, it's made an imprint.
That is always there.
In their minds for life.
Absolutely. Right. And I'll give you an example. I was so worried about Maya, more so than Marcus, because, like Jeremiah said, Marcus was more of an independent kind of person.
Right.
And Maya was always with us. So, and we did, we coddled her. I'm not going to say coddled her. I think it's a little bit too strong. But when something happened, somebody would jump in. Marcus would jump in. I would jump in. Jeremiah would jump in. So we were a little nervous, like, oh my goodness, what is she going to do? And she managed to do really well because of what she saw us do. So she had that voice in the back of her head and those moments and the actions that she witnessed to kind of draw from to help her out of tough situations,
Right, yeah.
And one of the things too that I'll share is that they do. I don't think Marcus would ever admit that he may have cried a night or two without us.
You don't think so?
Yeah. He probably didn't, but
I don't know. Marcus, man, he's one of those. You got to force it out.
You got to force it out of him, right. But with Maya, very different. She
admitted it.
She was like, I was a little sad. She'll talk about, what's going on. But with both children, there comes a point in their college career where they're going to reach out to you with that overwhelmed, I'm stressed out call. Yeah. So they do need you. I always tease that Marcus only called when he wanted money. But
Pretty much.
But he did. You knew that when he called and the tone of his voice that he really just wanted somebody to bounce an idea off of or talk to. And Maya was, very similar.
Yeah.
I remember when I was away and she called me. I was away with my friends and CBs. I was away with them, and Maya called me and talked to me for about 20 minutes. She was stressing out. She not only talked to me for 20 minutes, she then called Jeremiah and talked to him for 20 Right.
Right, man.
Right. Yeah, right after. So, they do really need, they're going to need you, and they do miss you, and just remember that they do listen to the things that you share with them, So
I see you, Tina. I see you out there. CBs represent.
So make sure that, you keep that contact, and you can also put in rules in place as well as far as contact, because nowadays the technology is so great, you can text them whenever you want.
Right.
But one of my things is you better text me back. If you don't text me back
within what?
20
minutes.
Within half an hour, 20 minutes.
Please, this just happened the other night. Remember?
It did happen the other night.
And
I was freaking out.
Her off.
Right.
you had you had texted, and did you call or you just text?
I text multiple times. I called multiple times.
Right, and
Yeah.
she didn't text.
And she
or
didn't
call
text
back?
or call back, and I was freaking out.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
we've been watching a lot of Dateline lately. You know, you know what I mean? And after watching like 12 episodes of that, we've been like binge watching Dateline. You know what I mean? The text and
Right, you know, I need a text back. I need a text back.
I'm gonna need within like 15 minutes. I'm gonna need.
Or
a text
I'm
back.
gonna be in Philly.
Yeah. We gonna be on the turnpike. You know?
Right. I mean, you know, so you can, you know, I would suggest also setting up those rules, and you know, it's okay to be upset that they're not there, and on the brighter side of things, you know, the dynamic in the house changes, but on the brighter side of things, what happens is it does get better. It does get better. You're used to them being, you know, being gone.
Well, I guess that's when we can go into the. All right, so like people like to talk about this whole empty nesters.
Empty
right?
nesters, right?
So,
Right.
swinging from the chandelier.
That's what Gwen said.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as they're gone, you're gonna be wild, and you're gonna be out and hanging out, doing all, and we didn't know. And also too, it's a thing scary because, all your time from when the kids was little up until that time when they leave, has been invested in them, you're running them here and there, doing things with them, taking care of them, worrying about it. And then all of a sudden, it's just you and your spouse, you and your significant other, and it's like, are you prepared to handle that? Are you prepared to deal with that person?
Yes, and that's the thing too. When you talk about preparation, you prepare your kids to go away, but you prepare yourselves to go away. It is in that preparation. So it's like we really did I think we made a conscious effort to reconnect, and to do things together. So we would, just to get to know each other. Again, and that seems a little cliche, but just to get to know each other again and to reacquaint ourselves and to
because it's real. It
is, right?
Because the kids leave if you like you said, if you don't make a conscious effort, all this time you've been devoting to them. I mean, and you've been obviously you've been with your spouse or whatever, but it's just you and that person. You got to make sure that you're straight on. It's like it
really is.
Are you prepared for all that attention?
Right.
And all. And just you and that person one-on-one. Are you ready for that now? Because it's been different. So and that was something like you said we prepared for. But in terms of the swinging from the chandelier situation,
Jeremiah's broken a few. No, just kidding.
Wow.
No.
What happened the first couple of nights after
when
there was nobody?
There was no one in the house because what happened was Marcus graduated in 2014.
Right.
He lived with he lived at home.
Came back home after he graduated for about what?
Maybe
a little less than a year.
A little less than a year.
And then
he moved to Brooklyn. So he moved to Brooklyn, and he was in Brooklyn for he moved to Brooklyn. So at that point, he was gone. Maya left, and we were really like legit. Empty nesters.
It was just me and you in the house.
In the house. That's it.
Well, I want to tell you that we were in bed by 8 o'clock every night. It was so crazy. Because it was like, September, started getting a little cooler. And I don't know what it was. It's like, okay.
What are we gonna do?
All right, so we watching TV.
We don't have to take anybody anywhere.
No, we don't have to run anybody.
We don't have to worry about food
dinner.
for anybody.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about what's for dinner.
Right.
Go
ahead.
So we would eat our little meal or whatever we had, and I guess it's time for night-night.
Right, and that's like really what was going on, and and it wasn't a bad thing. It was just this was our new normal.
It was the new normal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it went like that.
Absolutely.
It went like that for a little while. We
It
were
did.
like going to bed real early.
Right.
Until then we started getting our feet up under us. We started.
Right.
We started. Okay, we'll go out here.
Right.
Do this. Oh, we can just go wherever we want to go. That was crazy.
I think that is really one of the biggest adjustments. Is knowing that you could just leave the house and you really don't have to tell anybody anything.
Right. Or we'll be worried about being back and what's going on with the kids.
Did they eat?
Right, did the kids
Do we need
eat?
to entertain them? You know, things like that.
They'll probably be like, entertain us, really?
I mean, not entertain them, but you just worry about them, you know?
And it was just about us.
It was just about us.
So it took a little while, I don't know, a couple of months, and then
did.
we, started getting our little swagger. And you're
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
we can go here.
That's right.
On a Saturday, we can go eat on a
Wednesday.
Thursday.
Right. We went out last night.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Go to dinner,
Right.
go wherever.
And you know what? The other thing that I think is positive, even though you're spending money on them anyway, but like when you go out to dinner, it's not 4 people, it's only 2. So there's a savings on some things, even though, you do spend money, what Maya, not Marcus, but with Maya. But Maya had an internship this summer, so she has a little bit of money for some time. Yeah. But, it's really, it's kind of liberating.
Right.
It's really liberating. To be able to, to have that freedom to do things.
Yeah, if you ask Maya now, she'll be like, y'all think y'all cute. Y'all always going somewhere. Y'all always, you know what I mean? Y'all always in the streets. Y'all always, and it's like, hey, yes.
We are. And it's, the thing about, Jeremiah and I, that's really, I think, key is the fact that we like each other. So we were able to build on that friendship that we have and really explore, and just have a good time, with, doing things together. And we consciously try to, to do that throughout, So now we're in a situation where, so we're empty nesters.
Right.
Right. And that was for about 2 years. Right.
Yeah.
Maya obviously would be home in the summer and the breaks and things like that. Right. And you know what? I want to just share a little bit about that when they come home on the breaks. When they come home on the breaks, you build up that, the household is kind of the same again.
Right.
You get used to them being there. Everybody's back and you're comfortable. You're having fun. You're watching TV. You're eating together, talking. Like, Maya is really, at this stage, she's like really my best friend, as far as that's concerned. Mother-daughter relationship, but she's I love talking to her and spending time with her and hanging out with her, so she is, which is, it's a nice thing. And then they leave. Again. And that, you have to go through those emotions. I still thought Maya was in the house, for a week, and she's been gone, for 2. So you have to take time to get used to that.
Right,
so
right. Yes, it comes back around again.
Right, exactly. So now we're in a situation where we were empty nesters, like we said, for about 2 years.
But guess what? Soon
but
as you get out,
you back in.
Guess who's back in the house? My wonderful son, Mr. Marcus. So no, it's good having him here. So Marcus is back with us now. He moved back into the house.
Right.
Just trying to, he's young, trying to do his thing out there, and he was living in Brooklyn, and it's hard. So just trying to save up some money so he could conquer the world. So of course, anytime.
Right.
Our kids are always welcome, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the house, so it's cool having them back. So we're not empty nesters. So no, I mean we're empty. I mean he's a grown.
He's a grown person, right? Exactly, grown man.
His own space,
he does his own space. Yes, exactly.
So it's
exactly.
different. Still ask about would y'all go shopping?
Right. This is a funny thing.
What'd you get?
Jeremiah and I, like we said, we are used to just going and doing what we want to do. We went to Stu Leonard's grocery store and some other place. So we're coming home with bags, and Marcus is asking us, like, you guys went shopping? Like, he really, he wants to go food shopping with us.
He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, how come you didn't tell me?
You didn't tell me.
Really?
I would have got up for that.
Right. Cat ain't never went food shopping with us. Now he want to go food. He want to tag along food shopping.
He want to go, right. Because
he ain't paying for the food.
Exactly.
He want to pick out. He don't want to go shopping.
He doesn't want to go shopping.
He wants to
right, put stuff in the cart.
Yeah.
So so now we're in that mode. And what I would also parents and their children is, giving them the opportunity and the freedom to be able to come back, to be able to save is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
My thing is, I just want them to come back. Like, I don't want them to come back with their families. Like,
Oh, wow.
because you have that too.
Oh, you want like a Cosby situation?
Yeah, no, right. No, that's not going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, like
because
Cosby.
when you bring in other people in the home, it becomes a little bit much. But we really wanted to take, they're fortunate enough that we can.
Ron. He trying to get his groceries off. Yeah, he's definitely trying to get his groceries off our list. You know what I mean? Come on now. It's bad when you write down a list of groceries, right?
Right.
You got your little list, right? You put it on the counter.
Right.
You go upstairs. You come
Different
back.
handwriting.
Different handwriting. Yeah, you done wrote a pen. You got pencil down there. Fruity Pebbles. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, added on there. I'm like, oh, Oreo cookies.
He's writing on your list.
Yeah. I'm like, who wrote this? Oh, word.
But it's all good. But it does, word to parents, it does get better.
Oh, yeah.
For your children, it's such a wonderful experience for them. They develop and they grow as individuals so much by this experience, because I begged Marcus not to go away. Like, I was trying to sabotage it. I'm like, we'll buy you a car. And he's like, no.
Sad. Just sad.
And I'm so happy he went away. And
I'm very happy he went away. I wanted him to go away.
I was semi-kidding, but, if he jumped on that offer, it would have been fine. But it was such a great experience for both of them to be able to be on their own, to experience that.
A different city, a different,
right.
A whole different environment than what they're used to. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, kids, depending on the child, but yeah, kids, that's a good thing for a child.
It is.
To learn and navigate the world
without their parents.
Without their parents in their own space, you know what I mean? And learn how to do things, make mistakes, get lost, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
a little help, but do it on their own.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's awesome. It really is.
It builds confidence in your ability to do things, So that's always a good thing.
Yeah. So don't be fearful of having your children go away. You will like the little bit of freedom that you get out of it, and just be supportive of them and help them when they stumble. But they might not even call you when they stumble, because I think they can navigate. They navigate pretty well through through the challenges.
Yeah,
so.
It's good watching them develop into capable and well informed and good people, good adults. It's just crazy just sitting here watching them and looking at them when they're doing their thing. It's a blessing, and then knowing that you
had some part in it.
You had some part in it, right? You did the right things for them to be able to make these decisions and choices. So that's a great thing. It's a great thing.
So we're going to wrap it up.
Oh, it's that time?
It's that time.
Okay.
I want to thank Jeremiah for being here with me, and Jeremiah will, definitely, he's going to be back. This is going to be a regular thing. I love, being, just, having the dialogue.
With your boo?
Yeah, dialoguing with my boo. That'll be the tagline.
Dialoguing with my boo. Wow.
And I also want to, before we go, I want to thank Nancy Vargas Johnson.
Go Nancy.
Awesome.
Go
Nancy. So
Go
if you're
Nancy.
looking to buy
Go
or sell a
Nancy.
home in the Long Island area, hit her up. She's awesome. And I want to thank everybody for watching us. And make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me at DeliTeach, DeliTach.
You heard?
And also like Conversations with Verdel Jones, my Facebook page. So this way, you can get all the information about the show. And I want to thank everybody for watching. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give.